Mr. Grothman for 5 minutes.
Okay. First question, kind of a follow-up on what we had in the past. I've been at the border many times. The Border Patrol always seems to believe that the vast amount of the guys that I talk to, gals down there, they feel that most of the fentanyl is coming across, not at the points of entry, but other places for the obvious, but it is not caught as much because you don't have gotaways at the points of entry. In other words, there's, even now, I believe you told me over half the fentanyl was coming in between the points of entry. But if you were going to sneak fentanyl across, you would not want to contact the Border Patrol first. Am I accurate in that?
Thank you, sir. So the question gets to, I believe, what we were talking about earlier, which was the gotaways, and then, of course, the unknowns, the stuff that we don't know. So, yes, potentially there is no way to know what is inside that group, both of those groups together.
Right. They felt that actually the last time I was down there was a decrease of fentanyl caught at people sneaking across the border because you had less people to monitor that area because they were spending all day doing paperwork on the people who are coming in the points of entry. Am I right in that?
So what I can tell you, sir, is that there is, I think as I stated earlier, about 20% of the agents currently are doing processing, sort of the care of migrants that are in our custody and are not actively securing the border. What I would say, too, and I think it's one of the things we missed when we were talking about hard narcotics, I know the focus has been on fentanyl, however, but also in terms of the amount of meth that we've seized in the Tucson sector, which is still an incredibly dangerous hard narcotic, 93% of that is caught outside of our checkpoints. So that is absolutely trafficked on people that are crossing the border.
Right, right. All people you encounter deal with the Border Patrol. The Border Patrol does not deal with the approximately 60,000 people a month who are gotaways. That's the point I'm trying to make. Now, I want to give you some overall numbers because they're just so unbelievable. I want to confirm that they're accurate. 2 years ago, in December, there were about 21,000 people who came across the border, both released family units and single adults as well as gotaways. We have in 2 years gone from about 21,000 to 238,000 the most recent December. Are those numbers accurate? In 2 years, we've gone from 21,000 to 238,000?
Sir, one, I don't know why, but I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you, but I hear you asking about the numbers over years.
Well, I'll say again.
Much better, sir.
2 years ago, there were, in December, there were approximately 20,000 people coming across the border, both encounters and gotaways combined. We've now gone from 21,000 to 238,000. That's almost unbelievable. Do you believe those numbers are accurate?
I don't have December's numbers, sir, but what I can tell you is, so fiscal year 18, 19, and 20, Tucson sector had about 60,000 apprehensions. 21, 190,000 apprehensions. So we tripled the previous year, or had all three of those years combined. Last year it quadrupled. Last year it was 250,000. We're 20,000 ahead right now. So we went from what I would describe as unprecedented to a point where I don't have the correct adjective to describe what's going on.
Okay. Something in the past was said about children being separated from their families or children being separated from both parents. Are there unaccompanied minors coming across the border? And are there children coming across the border with one parent, which inevitably means, or not always, but frequently means that we're separating families, or families are being separated at the border?
Yes, sir. So in Tucson sector, we do see unaccompanied children. It's not an enormous part of our population. It's probably about 7% of the population we deal with, maybe less, are unaccompanied children. I do believe it's a much bigger issue in Rio Grande Valley, sir.
Okay, I think 7% of, well, unaccompanied children in the most recent month were about 8,000 to the 238,000 people who came across. I still think 8,000 unaccompanied children coming across the border every month is significant to those children, right? 8,000 is a lot, wouldn't you think?
Sir, again, monthly, that's high, at least in Tucson sector. In 22, in fiscal year 22, we apprehended 19,000 unaccompanied children in Tucson sector, which, again, is still a very significant number and a great drain on our
I
resources.
don't consider 19,000 insignificant. I think that's a tragedy for just one area. One final comment before I let go of the microphone. This comment today that we're having this hearing to amplify white conspiracy theories is one of the most offensive things I've seen since I've been here. And I would invite any of the Democrats, other than the ranking minority member, to maybe put out a press release or something if you disagree with this. Because this is such an inflammatory thing to put out there to the American public. We're having a hearing on the border and it's for white conspiracy. I mean, it's just awful what you people do. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mr.